Hi, welcome back to the Ecuador Insider Podcast, Season 2, Episode 9. I'm Meg from Abundant Living, and I'm joined by these three lovely ladies. I'm going to say your names.
I'm Amy.
Hi, this is Heidi.
Roxy.
And
Ellie.
And this is the ladies of AB Ecuador Take Over the Podcast.
Woo!
Yay! So actually, this was an idea from Vegas Hot Flash. She commented, or he? She?
I'm not sure.
They commented in one of the comments that they wanted to see the ladies' perspective. So here we are.
This one's for you.
For you, Vegas Hot Flash. So just before we start, anyone who's new, who's maybe the first time checking out the channel, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell, because there is so much content that these guys at AB Ecuador are putting out. There are vlogs that follow the life of Carl, Ryan, and Jesse. There are Ecuador expat interviews, and of course the podcast. So please join us and follow along. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to play a little game with you guys. We're going to play Who is Whose Husband. So if you guys are true fans of AB Ecuador, then you know, because you've seen these ladies and their husbands' vlogs. So hit the pause button right now, and I want you to write whose wife is, whose husband is Amy's,
Who's my husband?
and who's
Her husband.
Ide's husband, and who's Roxy's husband. So hit the pause button right now. Let us know, and what if they get it right? What did they get?
We'll think about that through the podcast and have an answer at the end.
Maybe we'll put
Maybe
a
the
heart.
husbands will come back with
The reward.
the reward.
Okay, something like that.
Or we'll hit the heart button on your comment. Okay, pause the video. Okay, so did you guys do your guesses in the comments? All right, ready? Amy, who's your husband?
My husband is Ryan.
Ide, who's your husband?
My husband is Jesse Bayer.
And Roxy, who's your husband?
Mr. Carl Marson.
Did you guys get it right? So we're going to start off with a little introduction of these ladies. Kind of who you were before you came to Vilcabamba, and then why you came here, and yeah, just whatever you'd like to share about that. You like to start, since you're right beside me?
Yep, I guess we can go in a line. Okay, so as I said, I'm Amy. I came from Washington State in the United States, Spokane, Washington to be specific. And my family actually lives here. So my parents and my sister, I've got an aunt and uncle that live here. And when I moved here, I even had some cousins that lived here. No longer cousins, but I've got some extended family here. And you may be thinking that's why I moved. Actually, that's not why I moved. My husband wanted us to move here, and I was opposed to the idea. I didn't want to uproot from my very comfortable life in the United States as a physical therapist. And after a year of talking about it and some other things, basically God softened my heart and I had a change of thought, and here we were, ending up in Ecuador a whole year later. Kind of still as newlyweds, actually. We were only married for like a year and a half at that point, and now we've been here 3.5 years. And as you guys know, Ryan is working for Abundant Living. I have a physical therapy practice, more holistic based, but it's currently on hold because we have a baby on the way. We're actually due in the same week, so we're both around 38 weeks pregnant here, and we wanted to get this podcast out before the water breaks and all that. So maybe in a next episode you can be introduced to our newbies. So this will be our first. Hers,
My second.
yeah. All right, I'm handing off to you.
Alright, so this is Aide Loaiza. I'm Jesse Bayer's wife. First I gotta say that English is not my first language, so please don't be rough with me.
Oh.
So I get confused a little bit with some words. So I am from Ecuador. I'm originally from the coast of Ecuador, south. a city named Arenillas down Machala. I grew in Ecuador for 6 years, then I moved to Spain, and I spent 12 years in Spain, and I came back to Ecuador. And as soon as I got to Ecuador, my mom was very concerned about the safety of the coast, so she looked up for another alternative for me. So she found this really nice town that is called Vilcabamba, that she heard really good stuff about it, like it was nice, safe. She wanted me to be in a place that I can be, because after being in Spain, like you have like high expectations. So going to the coast, it was a little bit scary for my mom, because there is more delinquency, there is more exposition to bad stuff like drugs and things like that. So my mom just picked this place all of a sudden from the map. She said, "You are going there." So here I am in Vilcabamba. As soon as I got here, like I really loved the place. It's a small town. It's very comfortable. Like you know everybody. Beautiful. The weather. Something that I really love from Vilcabamba is the weather. Because being in Spain for me was always cold, super cold and super hot. So here it was like nice weather the whole year. So I like I can go to the coast because the coast is super hot. My family lives there. It's hot, humid. I don't enjoy the coast at all. Sometimes we as a family we do go to the coast, but when we go to the beach, so you get a little more breeze there. So. Yeah, I really fell in love with Vilcabamba. It's safe place. I consider it very safe on different parts of Ecuador after experiencing a lot of places. So beautiful. The people here is so beautiful, and yeah, the community. I love the community.
How
here.
did you meet Jesse?
I met him in Vilcabamba. I was working. So yeah, it is quite amazing because he moved to Ecuador in 2013 and I moved to Ecuador in 2012. So all of a sudden, like it was like I never thought in my life to be here. He never expected to be here neither. So all of a sudden it's like we believe in some kind of destiny. So it's like we are brought here to meet each other and do what we're doing, that we're creating a family together, and it's beautiful how it happened. Yeah,
It's like a true love story.
exactly. We were made to be here to meet each other.
Yeah. And Roxy, you also met your husband in Vilcabamba, right?
I did.
So what were you doing before you came here, and what?
Before I came to Vilcabamba, I actually was studying holistic midwifery because I knew I wanted to have children. Don't we all? We all want children. Yeah. It's nap time. I wanted to have children and I wanted to raise them on a homestead. So before I studied midwifery, I studied permaculture and organic farming. And I came down here specifically looking for my soulmate.
Where's the picture of Carl?
The picture of Carl. Oh gosh, she would. That's a good idea.
Oh,
Is that your daddy? That's a good daddy. Good idea. Papa.
Oh, she likes it.
She can have it. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. So, I actually met Carl the first day I arrived. We were staying in the same guest house in San Joaquin, one of the gated communities. And we came down for the same reasons, similar reasons. We were both friends with a couple that were living here at the time. And that's how I actually came to Ecuador, because of that couple, thinking that
they had kind of like an eco village in San Joaquin, and I thought, what better place? I was vegan at the time, and so were they, and I thought, what better place to meet somebody who actually wants to farm that's vegan, not very common. Because I'm from Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada, and I, of course, with farming comes usually animal husbandry, and I wasn't finding a vegan husband. So I came down here for that reason, and I met Carl the first day that I arrived.
Wow.
First
He
day.
And the
also
rest is history.
He also is from Canada, so.
And we're both from Canada. Carl's from Quebec, and I'm
It's
from
amazing.
British Columbia.
Another destiny story.
Definitely.
So there's some amazing things about Vilcabamba, and it attracts a certain type of person, I think, and that's what you guys have seen, right? That's what I've seen for sure in my friend group.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So all of us here have been pregnant, or had a baby, and had a baby, or
Have a baby.
Almost have a baby.
almost
You
had
have
a
a
baby.
baby.
You have a baby, yeah.
Almost in my arms.
Exactly.
Maybe tonight. Stay tuned. But so that's one of the topics that I wanted to discuss, because I don't think these topics are really being addressed about in the other Vilcabamba videos by anyone, is like what it's like to have a family in Vilcabamba. And families start off with the marriage, but let's start focusing on the pregnancy and the birth. So does anyone, what do you guys think about being pregnant here? Let's start with that. Mm-hmm. Does anyone have anything to share about pregnant life here, or?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm having my second baby right now, and when I was in the process of the first baby, I was here. I did give a birth in the States.
Oh, right.
Because it was in the same time that it was Christmas, and it was like time for to be with Jesse's family. Mm-hmm. So it got together. So I had the baby there, but I pretty much the whole pregnancy was here. Honestly, I am in the idea of a natural stuff. So I don't go to doctors and stuff like that. So we have like alternatives. In that time we didn't have what we're gonna use now. So we will talk about it later. But in that moment I met like a 90-year-old lady. Wow. That she is from this town, Vilcabamba, and she's been delivering a baby from her whole life. So
Doña Julia.
Doña Julia.
Doña Julia.
90 years old in the Valley of
Amazing.
Longevity.
12 children.
A lot of babies. Yes. So I used to go with her to do my checks like every time that I feel a little uncomfortable with my belly, and it was great because she, with her experience, she did something that any doctor does to you. Is like move the baby so it's in the right position or it's in the right place, so it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. In my case, my baby was always kind of going down, and that made me feel very uncomfortable. So I went to check with her, and always trying to eat good, looking for alternatives that I avoid medications, things like that. So that was my experience in the first baby. I had the baby in the States. It was like an amazing experience, and I have high expectations now to have the baby here in Ecuador, since we have this I don't know how it's called, like it's a foundation, it's like organization,
Clinic, or
Yeah.
It's
a
a
nonprofit
organization.
Yeah.
nonprofit organization.
New Life
US
Birth
based.
Clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check them out.
Yes, we.
Before we talk about that, though, I really want to talk about Roxy, your birth story with Soli,
Yeah.
because it is so different. So you gave birth, was that 2013?
Pregnant in 2013, gave birth January 2014.
Do you want to share what that was like? And it's a big contrast to what we have now.
Oh, wow. Yes, definitely. At that time, there was Doña Julia, whom I went to, but she told me I didn't want to know the sex of my baby, and I thought it was a girl. And Doña Julia told me, because she can tell what gender your child is by your pulse, And as soon as she told me, I didn't want to go back to her ever again.
She said it was a boy.
She said it was a boy.
You're like, she's wrong.
My first child is a boy. But I'd always wanted a girl. Anyway, I'm very pleased to have a son as well as a daughter. Anyway, so there was Doña Julia, who was in her 80s at that time. And we could barely understand what she said because she speaks Campesino. It's a little bit different than the Vilcabamba Spanish. And so I didn't really feel super comfortable with her. And there was another midwife from Argentina. But when I went to see her for checks, she was extremely rough in comparison to Doña Julia, who has hands of an angel, seriously. She's amazing, actually. And so I didn't want this other midwife's care either. And I had the midwifery school that I'd gone to actually promoted unassisted births. Wow. Strange, but true. Very unusual school. And so I decided to have an unassisted childbirth on my own up in the mountains.
Wow.
Just you and
I didn't know
with me and my husband and my neighbor ended up coming for the last hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't recommend that, but everything went well. I had enough training and to figure things out, and then we had nurses that came to check on us and midwives that came to check on us after. So now there's actually a birth clinic with midwives, with students that are training with the midwives. I had my second child with that team, and they provide incredibly high quality care, and I highly recommend them.
Such an asset to our community. I mean, so many women, it seems like they come here to give birth, or they come here and then they get pregnant, and then they really filled a huge gap in this community.
Yeah, it's quite a fertile valley.
Yeah, the Valley of Fertility. It's the new slogan.
Yeah.
Longevity.
There's about 8 other people due in the next 2 weeks in this valley
that
besides
we know of.
her and I.
That we know of.
And then there's even more later this year.
Right.
So.
And there were just 4 that just gave birth in
birth.
the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's a thing.
Yeah.
If you want to start a family, come down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you have kids already.
Yeah.
There's lots of kids to play with.
So many.
Lots of friends.
And then Amy, you're going to go with the birth clinic too, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be using the birth clinic. We're going to be doing a home birth. Well, hopefully everything goes according to that plan. And I have full confidence in our midwife, Morgan, who was trained in the U.S. She's opened lots of clinics all around the world in rural communities, places that don't have much. And healthcare in a rural community is very different than healthcare in a city. And this woman knows exactly what to do when things don't go according to plan. So I have full confidence in her, and we're just trusting God that everything's going to work out just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to add really quickly that it seems to me everything I've experienced in these past few years of being here, I think I've been here almost 7, it's like the C-section rate here for among expat women, because I can really speak to the expat population, is very low. And we experience extremely healthy pregnancies. And maybe it's the food quality,
the air quality,
it's the non-invasive prenatal screenings. It's and you know what else, guys, I really think it is? I really believe, I was very fortunate to be pregnant here, and every woman I knew had given birth at home, or they wanted to give birth at home. So that was the norm. It wasn't anyone saying, you want a natural birth with a midwife? Like, oh my gosh, you should be afraid. There was nothing. Every woman I talked to was like, birthing is awesome. You can do it. It was such an encouraging atmosphere. And the same thing with breastfeeding. We can breastfeed openly here. No one's like, that's disgusting. Everyone does it. I mean, it's a dream. It is absolutely a dream to be pregnant, give birth, and be a mother in this valley. That's my opinion.
We have a lot of support.
So much support.
Yeah.
And I just think, guys, we're so fortunate.
I
Yes,
agree.
we are.
Definitely made some really good
The only
points.
thing really is, I did import prenatal vitamins from the States.
Yes, there's
Higher
that.
quality.
So did
There's
we.
that. And certain things like homeopathic teething tablets, those types of things. bring them from the States, but I mean, we have everything else.
Teething toy.
Yeah,
You have time to get those
You have
things.
time to get all those before you come. Just if
Yeah.
you're planning on getting pregnant, that's actually what I did. I brought like cloth diapers with me when I moved here because I knew I was going to get pregnant. I brought all these things. So,
And I've actually found a lot of reusable things that I bought from you or from other moms.
That's it.
And
yeah.
it's so funny, like I just got this little outfit and 4 different people in this valley have owned that outfit, and now I get to own that outfit for our daughter.
I love that. That's
So,
the best.
yeah, you can reuse stuff too.
Yeah, I think we're really blessed here with the pregnancy and the birthing.
And you actually, because the clinic is now actually has clothes for sale on top of all of the things that they said, and they also have cloth diapers for sale as well.
Yeah, very reasonably priced.
I mean, that's just, we're so blessed, guys.
Yes.
Yeah, so after you have your baby, I mean, I've been a part of many what we call meal trains. Like, it's just something the women do here. We just set up a meal train because our families aren't here for the most part. Some people are very lucky to have their family here, but we set up meal trains and take turns, you know, making meals for the family for as long as they need or whatever they need. It's always really important to me to do that because
Huge.
we're building a community here, and it's really true. It's not just like a bunch of people living here. I feel like the young parent community is a true community.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that exists other places in the world. Probably in churches. Probably if people are in churches, there's that church community that will love you and take care of you after birth.
Yeah.
But for the most part, us Western women are very isolated after giving birth. But I don't feel like it here.
No, the vibe that I have is family first, and even all of our husbands work for Abundant Living, and it's work, but really it's family first, and that's the priority for each of these guys. Their wives and their children would always come before their work, and so that's something that maybe isn't as common in more developed countries.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm thankful for that here.
We are creating the new world.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like this is great. It's
Right.
also the old world, isn't it? It's kind of like
that's
we kind of have vibes of
a lot of old-fashioned.
the old-fashioned,
ancient,
Traditional.
community-centered, family-centered lifestyle.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's also one of the reasons why our husbands decided to come down here is because they wanted to prioritize their families and their families' well-being.
I remember, like, my husband, he works from home. He doesn't work for Abundant Living, but he works online. And I remember he got to witness my first son's first crawling. He was on the Skype with a client, just the video or just the voice. And I was like, Dave. And he put the call, he muted the call. Sorry for my husband's client if you're watching this, but he put the call on mute and he was like, Buddy, wow, you're crawling. That's great. And then he was like, yeah, okay. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's
Right.
priceless.
Being
It's
able to
so
work from
priceless.
home.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
to
live
be
here.
there in the important times. Yes.
Yeah.
experience those milestones. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about community and the social life here? I mean, we touched on it a little bit, the tight-knittedness after the baby, but what about after that? What about after your children grow up?
Or even if you don't have children.
Or even if you don't have children, that's
Yeah.
true.
I'll take a stab
Please
at this
start.
first, and then you guys can tag team. So this is huge for Ryan and I, is the community. Before we left the United States, we had a tight-knit group of friends and family that supported us and that we were a part of. But I must say, it seems like the pace in the U.S. makes it difficult to really establish those connections and those relationships more face-to-face. And so coming here, it was such a night and day difference. It's a slower pace of life, and we just find that people make time for you. Like, you could literally plan a birthday party for your kid or for your husband, like the day before, and a whole bunch of people would show up. And
Yeah.
I don't think you would find that in the United States. A lot of people cancel at the last minute, things come up. So here we are just so blessed to be a part of people that care about relationships, that care about connecting with each other. And
We need it more because our families are not.
sure,
Yeah.
for these
Here.
guys who don't have their
Yeah.
immediate families close by, or their parents, grandparents, that sort of thing, it's really important, I think, to be in a community with like-minded individuals. It's a unity building thing. It helps even raise your children to a degree. Yeah, and so we're looking forward to entering into that stage with you all.
We're so happy for you guys.
Most of our friends here have kids, so we're a little behind all of you, but
My friend Ashley likes to call it framily.
family,
Like
yes.
friends, but
friends and family.
Yeah.
And just to touch on one other aspect of the community, Ryan and I actually are a part of a small group that meets on occasion. With the pregnancy, it's been a little bit less frequently, but we meet on occasion as a home group and just go over the Bible. We pray for each other, we encourage each other. It's about 4 or 5 families, and we really find that valuable for our spiritual life. So there is that here if it's something that appeals to you, and there are other groups of different natures as well. Yeah.
Home church. There's also play groups. There's different classes available to children. There's art class, there's karate, there's soccer, there's violin, there's arts and crafts, there's pottery classes, all available to kids. Anything else? There is an alternative school also.
We're going to cover that later.
Okay.
Sorry, Meg.
That's okay. That's okay.
Cut that part out.
I don't know. Okay.
What about
So-
you?
Yeah,
in community?
Well, for me, for my family, community is everything, because Jesse's family doesn't live in Ecuador, and my family, they live in the coast, and believe me, I don't see them more than Jesse sees their families. Like,
Oh, wow.
I mean, they are closer, of course. So the community that we've been hanging out like recently with, like, is lovely. I mean, I can feel super blessed by God that gave us this community here with all. For example, all the women that I'm around are the husband are my husband are my husband's friends. So it is really good, because then we can, like, the women can hang out in one side, the men can do their thing. So no, I believe that that the community that is building up in Vilcabamba is, like, it is amazing. So I am very happy for that. And yeah, I mean, there is not much I need from. I miss my family, but it's not like a concern for me. Like, for me, my family is my husband and my kids. So I am very happy that my kids can play around with kids of their age.
Yeah.
And like you said, Meg, I like to have this available so they can grow together. I mean, it's not also for us, it's also for them.
Yeah.
So in other places, if I could live in the coast, my family or people how I raise my kid, they feel like I am weird, because
Yeah.
They don't, in Ecuador, maybe the culture is not like that lovely, that, like, warming with your kid. It's a little more cold, like a little more strict.
Conservative.
Exactly. So here, with all the experiences I'm having, is like I'm learning from all of you guys how you guys are raising your kids, because, like, I want to raise my kid that way. So it's beautiful. It's like that I'm very happy here, and I'm like, nobody's gonna move me out of here. I'm from the coast, so we visit the States, and yeah, I mean, like, there is, like, the same amount of time from here to the States, like 6 hours flight. People doesn't see each other, even living in the same country.
True.
So here, like, for us, our community is like a plus that we
Yeah.
have here.
For sure. We considered moving here a couple times, like from here a couple times, for various reasons, but honestly it was always like, where am I going to find another friend group like this? It just doesn't exist. I don't think it exists. I mean, I have really wonderful friends back in the States, but just a group like this, of this magnitude, that has all these kids that are just there for you, it's like,
And we're so
I know.
close proximity-wise,
Yeah,
too.
that
We're
too.
not so spread out, so it actually
That
makes
too.
it easier to get together.
yeah, it's true.
And we should also touch on, it's not just families down here, you know. Obviously, there's the locals. establishing connections and relationships with the local Ecuadorians, which we're excited to have a bilingual child, and hopefully they'll teach us better Spanish because we're still learning. And then there's also an expat community of retirees, so you can always find your surrogate grandparents down here too.
True.
These people love kids. They're missing their families, but they've come here to retire. And
just
yeah,
very
it's just
special.
very tight-knit.
It's just
All
such
the generations combined.
And you know what I love too? It seems like kids in the States are really, it's like if you're 5 years old, you have 5 years old friends. If you're 10 years old, you have 10 years old friends. But I have a 5, almost 6-year-old son, and he has like, your son is like one of his good friends. He's like 2 years old, and he doesn't know the difference. And then he has like friends that are like 14. And then he has friends that are like 65, and they're actual friends, you know? It's like...
And then he's got me.
And he's got her, and she's... Are you 19?
Oh, I wish.
But yeah, the for me, the community was just like... I mean, I could live closer to my family. I could live where Amazon Prime is. It's like, I would love to live there.
Those conveniences.
But it's just like the community, I can't leave it. I can't leave it.
Yeah, it outweighs all the things that we left behind. That's my opinion.
I think so. And with the like-minded parents, like you were saying, like, it's so cool because it seems like my group of friends, it's like, we all have the same feelings about like screen time, very little to no screen time, and like our kids don't sit at restaurants with apps, and you know, like, and it's cool, and like we have all these varying alternative ideas about how to raise kids, but they all kind of match up, and we're kind of like, even if you don't have one that matches up, we kind of like, it's fine.
And we have so much in common.
And we learn from each other, right?
Yeah.
Like I might hear Roxy say something, I'm like, okay, I need to start doing that.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that, you know? And it's great.
Yeah, we have other ways of staying in connection with the moms in this valley every day, like our WhatsApp groups or our Telegram groups. We have Mamas Unidas. We have a Moms Buy and Sell group. It's easy to find things for children of all ages or for ourselves.
Good point.
Or for sometimes if somebody has a crisis, maybe they had an accident, you can find homeopathic, natural remedies, herbal remedies, sometimes even vitamins, supplements. If you reach out into this mama community, you can actually find a lot of what you need that other people have already ordered from Amazon.
I'll never forget, like once River got a bee, I think it was a bee sting. It was something that, it must have been a bee sting. And we were just like, it was outside of a restaurant, and I was standing talking to 3-4 different women. And literally, I think maybe you were one of them. This was like years ago. And someone was like, I have colloidal silver, I have lavender, I have arnica, I have this. And they're all just like throwing it at you, and you're like, wow. Yeah, and it's like, thank you. It's not, you know, whatever. I don't even know what else to use for that, but it's pretty cool, guys.
Nice.
I'm getting really
really
excited about living here. I already was, but like just talking about it makes me feel
Warms our hearts.
Yeah, I really appreciate the bringing up all the reasons that sometimes we can forget why we're here.
all right, so next, what about like health and safety? So a lot of people are asking, are you feeling safe here? What about the healthcare system? And if we speak to that as parents, like, of course we want to keep our kids safe and healthy. That's like, for me, that's the most important thing in life. If you don't have safety and you don't have your health, you have nothing, really. Your body can't function. You can't operate in any higher capacity, really. So what do you guys think about? Do you have any experiences in the healthcare system here? We have to. Let me clarify, though. Let me clarify. Healthcare system could mean the hospital, or it could mean all of our various other alternative practitioners, her being one. Yeah. So it can be either one. I think people in general in the expat community are a little leery of hospitals in general in the U.S. and any country. We're not really pro allopathic medicine in general. Wouldn't you guys think that?
Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part.
But because a lot of expats have been here for almost 10 years now, and there's been a variety of different types of accidents that have happened within the expat community. We know which hospitals to go to for what, which is an amazing resource. If you were coming here when the first kind of expat community was just starting to bud, you wouldn't have that information. But there's people that have been here for up to a decade, and then there's new practitioners coming in at all times. They're actually professional doctors like Amy, and midwives like Morgan with the clinic. There's always different other types of holistic or naturally minded professional doctors that are always coming into this town, because
it kind of attracts that.
It attracts
that kind of individual. Yeah.
And there's definitely a need for it in the community. I know you were pretty busy in your practice.
Yes, very busy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vilcabamba community, for all of your support.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there is like a lot of alternatives. Like since I met Jessie, like I was introduced to the new system, no, like the new way to take care of myself. And I was like a little bit concerned, no, because I was always used to go to the doctor and get pills and everything. But he mentioned to me that there is ways to heal your body without that, because you're stopping your body to heal what needs to heal. So, no, for sure, there is lots of alternatives, healthy. First of all, when I used to have any problem, he found like a holistic doctor in Loja, because we were living there. But Jessie, when he has whatever with his knee or with his belly or with whatever, there is always someone even in the community. I mean, there is like, Vilcabamba is not like a big city, right? But there is more alternatives than in the big cities.
Than anywhere else in Ecuador, probably. I would guess more than Quito, more than I would guess that.
At least expat train.
And I can speak to that too. There's actually a lot of people that come down here to work on their health because things aren't working for them elsewhere.
So true.
So they come and they stay in this valley for a couple of months, and they just schedule appointments with me and with others in the community to get their health back on track.
And they succeed.
They do. And we have such a clean life here. Things that would bog down your system up in the United States or elsewhere. I speak from that because that's where I'm from. We don't have that here. We've got the clean air. We've got the clean water.
There's no fast food. There's no McDonald's. There's no drive-through.
Exactly.
There's
Organic
not that temptation.
food is very easy to get a hold of. The sunshine is out almost all the time. Right now
we're late in the day.
It's
so pleasant.
It's about to go down
pleasant.
actually. But we are comfortable. Actually, I'm really hot. Are you hot?
You're pregnant.
Yeah, I'm really hot. So
into labor.
Anyhow, but yeah, we have access to so much here that is just not available elsewhere, and it all contributes to the holistic person, including the many practitioners that you can work with when you come here.
Yeah.
Amen.
You know, I want to share one, because we're not really touching on like the hospital aspect.
Sure.
My son had an accident where he cut the tip of his toe off at Roxy's house.
And they're still friends. We're friends.
It's okay. It's fine. Anyway, we took him to. We could have went to the Vilcabamba hospital. They do stitches, and they've helped. I will say they've helped a lot of people. I think. I can't say because I don't have experience, but we went to San Agustin in Loja. What we've always heard is the best. We went straight there. They sewed him up like I don't even know, what do you call that doctor in English? He's called a
trauma surgeon?
Yeah, I guess a trauma surgeon.
Is it orthopedic?
In Spanish it's like traumaholigo or
Traumologist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, he was great. I mean, he sewed River's toe. I mean, it was wonderful. I think it was world class. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience, so I shouldn't talk. I feel like I shouldn't talk about things I don't have experience about.
But we paid out of pocket, right?
But we paid out of pocket. We didn't have any insurance.
But it's reasonable.
It was very reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't remember how much. It was a couple $100s. You know, he had an anesthesiologist and a doctor and a nurse, and I mean, all of the follow-up visits were free, and I mean, it was the best that we could have done in that situation. And I want to say this, like, should I say this? I don't know if I should say this, but in the U.S., if that would have happened, we come in the emergency room with my son cutting his toe off, we probably would have been investigated by CPS. Right?
Oh.
Like this type of thing, when you have traumatic accidents with your children, CPS will investigate. And
I didn't think of that.
yeah, and so that's a huge thing for me. That's one thing that always keeps me from, another thing that keeps me from going back to the States is like CPS involvement in the family life. Like I believe government should be out of the family life. And that would have been a CPS agent coming to the hospital, doing follow-ups at the house, maybe even doing like background checks on
Quite
us or
possibly,
something.
yeah.
And so I am so thankful that happened here and not somewhere else. Yeah.
And the kid's doing
scary.
great.
Yeah, he's great. He runs. He's fine.
incredible.
And yeah, he's had other issue. He had another issue shortly after that. And we went to the same hospital, and it was wonderful. I mean, my son is here. He's, and it's a blessing.
Yeah, you get allopathic and you get alternative. It's
For our family, we use the alternative for, if we ever have a cold or something, we would go that route. But something in case of trauma,
Yes.
cuts, abrasions, they can do it here.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
we're in very capable hands.
we're in very capable hands, yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about safety? What do you guys think? Is Vilcabamba safe? Do you feel safe? Do you have any negative experiences?
I mean, I've never felt threatened living here. I've never had a bad experience. Of course, I'm on top of my belongings and locking my doors to my car.
I mean, like you would in
just
the States,
smart
right?
stuff that you would do anywhere, just so that you can avoid like the petty theft. And I have heard people get their backpack taken off, but it's because they weren't paying attention or they left their phone somewhere and it was gone. But I've also heard stories where people left their phone somewhere and they came back and the person was
Yeah.
holding it for them.
Yeah.
And gave it back to them and didn't even expect any kind of like reward in return.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
it can go either way. As far as like feeling my life threatened, I've never felt that here. I don't go out late at night by myself on the streets, but I would never do that in the U.S. either. So that's just my take on it. And you probably have an even more unique perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, even here, like I would feel when I used to work here. I used to finish my work at 10. I used to walk like 15-minute walks in the dark. I mean, nothing happens. Like
wow.
I do feel very safe here, and that was like the main point. Like my mom decided this place for me because she wanted like a safe place to me, and she heard like really beautiful things about it. So she's like, bueno. So I can say that in comparison of the coast, that she was like she wanted me to avoid to have bad experiences. I have a cousin that she maybe got stolen her phone like 12 times in the bus, always in the bus.
On the coast.
Yes. So it's like the bus in the street. They just don't care. Like you are in the middle of the street with your phone handling here. Like forget it. Like don't do that. Like
So like people don't walk around typically like on their phone while walking in the coast. It's usually like put away somewhere.
It's better if you do that. If somebody does that, like maybe he might hear her or they might feel very comfortable doing it, but no, usually you cannot do that.
We're gonna go to the coast
It
soon.
is
I
very-
had no idea about that. Oh my goodness. Thank you for telling me.
And the worst thing is that it's not that you don't hear like somebody steal something from you. It's like the way that they do in the coast, which is like where I know. It's like in those places they do it more roughly with threatening your life with knives, with guns. I mean, they don't really care that it's in the middle of the day in the center square with so many people around you. They will take you decide and get the stuff from you. So
It's like a whole different
and-
country than here, huh?
Yeah.
It's like totally different.
completely.
The poverty.
I can't
Exactly.
believe it.
The big reason is like I believe is just in the coast. When you go and check it out, you can see that there is way more poverty.
Oh.
So those bring people to do
Hard
those kind of
times.
things.
Yeah.
The land is pretty fertile here, I guess, so people have their chickens and their vegetables
Yeah.
and their own homes. Like they're good.
Yeah, you
They're
don't-
better off than we are
yeah,
in a lot of
You don't have to worry about for example, you have your property here, you have your chickens
Right.
there, nobody's
Yeah.
gonna go and
Right.
take
A
them.
lot of the poor,
In there, yes.
a lot of people that are poor here do have land.
They have
own
land in the house and
a
animals
home,
and
but they're my experience of the coast, we never experienced any threatening. We had never had any threatening experiences, and we did feel safe. But it can possibly be different towns,
Yeah, of course.
like north, like Olon and
Yeah.
Ayampe.
Yeah, it does, and
Less crime, probably.
I just
Smaller
hear those
towns.
I just
Yeah.
hear those towns, and those towns are like pretty much a lot of people are from
from Vilcabamba.
there is a lot of expats in those areas.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's something
That's
it's
true.
something that you gotta consider, like when those kind of things are there, is like kind of, it's because people already feel safe in that area. It's not. But I did hear like Olona Yampe is like a places that I do hear a lot of expats in there. But if you go to like any normal town, like it's not like we went through the coast all over the places. I do feel like the crime is in there. I feel unsafe. Like I
you can
feel
like
like
sense it. You were saying
Yeah.
before you could like
Like
feel
a-
it in the
like
air.
like somebody gets
Yeah.
close to the car, like you like make sure that the car is
doors are
locked.
locked.
Yeah, I mean,
Sounds
and
like
in the
the
coast,
States.
like this happened to my father. It's like they try to even steal your car.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when you're driving, like my family's like, when I go there visit and driving, they're like, you are not scared that somebody pulls you off and steal your car? Like, no, I even didn't think about it. And, like, they told me that those things happen.
Yeah.
This I can't even imagine this. You're explaining this to me, and I'm like, it's so far removed from our reality.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
we don't have to worry ourselves
no,
with that.
I am.
It sounds like inner city.
It's
Chicago.
Yeah, it does. Wow.
It is.
I
Or
don't
Los
want to ever
Angeles.
live there.
No,
we're so
like-
safe in our little bubble in the
No,
mountains.
yeah, no. I do feel like, even like I hear there is articles about Loja City being like one of the top 5 safest cities in South America.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So-
That's all of
Yeah.
South America.
Yes,
amazing.
And Loja's just 45 minutes.
And it's
north
like
of
a
us.
big city, so
Yeah, a quarter
this
of a million
is a smaller
people.
town.
Yeah.
This is much better.
So we're even safer here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, last topic for today is like the education and activities for kids, extracurricular activities. So, what do you guys think? There's different options. We have the public school option in Vilcabamba. There's 2 elementary schools and then 1 colegio, which is like middle school and high school,
yeah,
right?
high school, yes.
High school. And then there's 1 alternative school, and then there's a bunch of homeschooling families. And and you were saying also, yes, there's private schools in Loja too.
Yes, yeah, no, there is lots of private and public schools in Loja, so there is a lot of options available. I just know from my experience that with Jessie's 12-year-old daughter, we went with 2 schools there that they were private, and I don't have anything bad to say about them, but Kirsten, Jessie's daughter Kirsten, she was not really feeling comfortable doing the learning in English. So
In Spanish?
In Spanish.
in Spanish, yes.
Right.
Spanish.
Yeah, so because she's from the States, she speaks English better. So
Her Spanish
For
is good
her-
too.
Her
I've heard
Spanish
it.
is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
it got better.
It's better
It got
than
better.
mine.
She forgot because she went to the States.
Oh,
So
right,
when
right.
she got back, then is when she went to school. So then she didn't know anything. But now, like, because there is like a lot of interaction with Ecuadorian people, she now like does it good. I mean, and she didn't like practice it to Spanish. Like the Spanish just came back.
It's
because-
immersion. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely. Well, a private school in Loja, how much does that cost roughly per month?
It depends of how good is the school. It goes through $90 per month till $140, something like that.
Yeah.
So-
And these are like the elite, like the top executives in Loja, the doctors, the lawyers, like these are where all their kids go.
Exactly. Yes.
I think my son, he went to San Gerardo for a little bit.
Yes.
4 days
Before the lockdown.
before the lockdown happened. Yeah, we
Oh,
were
wow.
gonna. But anyway, it was like, yeah, I think it was gonna be around 200, maybe 180 something.
Yeah, 180.
But that's with the books and uniforms and all that. So
Yeah.
that's quite a difference from the States.
No, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking a private school in the States. It goes
1,000 you can be.
Yeah,
It's
500.
between
Even
600 to
more.
1,000,
Yeah,
Oh,
depending
yeah.
where you are.
1,200.
Yeah.
Roxy, what about your son? What do you do?
Last year we did an online program. Before we started a curriculum, we were doing kind of unschooling. And then last year we started an online curriculum with a school called BJU. It's an American curriculum. And this year we're doing 2 different American curriculums, My Father's World and Master Books. And just kind of experimenting and seeing what works best for him, talking to a lot of other parents, getting advice, and hearing a lot about mixing curriculums and just testing things out, being flexible.
Yeah, it's great.
no, but I believe that now that there is like a big family community coming out, like options are gonna show up for
Yeah,
Agreed.
the
I agree.
babies.
I
Yeah.
totally agree.
All the kids are
There's gonna
getting
be more-
older now to
more
that
options.
more elementary,
That's
entry
true.
elementary
That's true.
age. And so I think that as a community we'll come together like we do and we'll create something for our children because education is important. And
Especially for me, certain types of education. It's like education on freedom.
yeah.
Basically, everything the mainstream media is telling the kids okay. First of all, our kids aren't hearing that, but we want to go the opposite way
Sure.
and teach them what it means to be free. And
Yeah, and I want to teach my on-the-way child about her body because I'm a physical therapist.
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
every child needs to know about health and
Yeah.
their body, and it's not just for doctors or for those in the health field. Like we need to know how to take care of ourselves.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
So-
Yeah, to learn the real things.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially, yeah.
Preventative.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. And do you know what I think is really cool here? Talking of education, we have retirees, like we said, from all over the world that were experts in their field. And so what an opportunity! These guys are experts in their field. They're retired. Their family's not here. Our kids can learn from them. Like one of my friends, her daughter gets classes with a French pastry chef. Like, when would you ever, have the access? And a lot of times these classes are free. I mean,
Wow.
people just do it just to pay it forward because they love what they used to do and love sharing that with kids.
That's a good point.
It's huge. Like we have people from the whole spectrum: permaculture experts, crypto experts.
Pilots.
Yeah, I mean
Maybe
midwives.
Maybe we'll get an airstrip here one day.
Yeah,
Well, there is a helicopter pad.
Oh,
that's the next project for Jesse.
there you go.
Airport.
One
Vilcabamba.
of the projects, I just want to bring it up because something that Jesse's dream was here. It was like to do a school in the way that we all like.
Yeah.
With the freedom. But yeah, it's something that it's in Jesse's price list.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I mean, yeah.
An alternative of
What a dream.
our beliefs.
Yeah, it's such a dream to have that type of thing.
Your kid's also doing homeschooling.
Oh, yeah. My son does homeschooling too through a curriculum. We actually paid for the books to come down here because we try to limit the computer screen time. And it's working really good, and I love it because I can really customize it to him. Like, one subject he's more advanced than others, and so it's really great. I'm such a homeschool. I think it's wonderful. And there's that thing I know when I was growing up with homeschoolers, like being weird or unsocialized. But in this community, it's really hard to be unsocialized. You have to really go out in the mountains and not answer your WhatsApp messages. There's always I feel like. Do you feel like every weekend there's something to do? I'm always.
Definitely.
We're always.
If you
doing
want
something
to do.
If you want that.
If you want to, then there is.
And always an opportunity. I know a lot of the kids have their own little businesses. I mean, we're talking little kids. My son had a kite business. He was selling. He's he loves people. And other kids have had I think Cyrus had a popsicle business, and
Kirsten did kids
yeah.
activities.
right.
Oh, yeah.
And their daughter does a kids activities in the park.
Wow.
We're raising a bunch of cool
Entrepreneurs.
They are not unsocialized at all.
No.
Homeschool kids are super friendly and get along really well.
And they're kind.
Yes.
They're kind in general here. So, yeah, and the last thing is activities. Roxy, you were talking earlier about all the different activities for kids that we have. I mean, sometimes we have a lot more. Sometimes, there's a dip and, maybe the teachers move or whatever.
Exactly.
So we've had all types of different.
Had
but-
music classes, karate, soccer. I think we
Basketball.
Right,
Oh,
basketball.
We have a pro basketball player here who does clinics for kids. It's such a gift. Like, what else do we have here? I mean, we have everything.
There's
Drawing.
Art.
There's
We have
music.
our friend has like an
professional
art. We have many professional artists, but one
Yes,
of them is our
that's
friend,
true.
and he does really amazing classes for kids.
Music classes.
Music, private. We can do private.
There's arts and
Violin.
crafts, pottery, violin.
Singing lessons.
Singing
Singing lessons.
lessons.
For that. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think there's a mama that might do wilderness classes with kids. There is
Yeah.
one in Loja.
Yeah,
Once
there's.
in a while, they do also like the farming drawing for kids.
That's a
Oh,
great
yeah,
idea.
right.
Yeah, they
There's even some really cool things in the works that I'm not at liberty to share yet. That's gonna make Vilcabamba great again. With the kids. Greater than ever for the children. That's gonna blow your guys' mind. You guys don't know
Ooh.
about it.
Oh,
I know
That's
about
exciting.
it. It's gonna be a game
more to come on
changer.
that.
Yeah, more to come. Stay tuned on that. Well, I think that's all. We've kind of talked everyone's ear off. Hopefully you guys are still with us and find this video interesting. I really wanted to make this video interesting in the way that I would have wanted to. I would have wanted to hear these things before
7
moving
years
here.
ago, you would have wanted to hear that.
I would have been like, give me more, like an hour, whatever we're at. Like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys found it interesting. Let us know.
Yeah, and if you have any other ideas or
Yeah.
topics that you want us to cover
Vegas Hot Flash.
from the ladies' perspective, let us know. We might actually take over this podcast.
Yeah. Did you guys like
Create our
taking
own
over the podcast?
no, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Do you think the guys are going to like our podcast or what?
We'll see.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up if you like this podcast because
If you want to hear
Give
it
us
again.
all
Yeah.
the
Yes,
thumbs
yeah,
up.
give us
And
thumbs
all
up,
the
please.
comments.
Yeah. If you're a
comments.
family, if you're a mom or if you have a family and you're thinking of moving here, introduce yourself in the comments. Like, ask us questions and
Yeah.
we'll answer. And we love meeting new families and having more kids for our kids to play with. And
There's a place for you.
there's
here.
a place for you here.
Totally.
We welcome you. You're not an outsider. You're in. So
Yeah.
just say hi.
Welcome to Vilcabamba.
Welcome. All right. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
And
Signing off.
bye.